Alright, so you've just finished building your Shopify app. Huge congrats on that. Now here comes the fun part, deploying it out of your local environment and getting it ready for the Shopify App Store. Now for this guide, I'm going to assume that you have built your Shopify app using Shopify CLI. If not, if you went the manual route, then you have to make sure that you have migrated this Shopify app to work with Shopify CLI. It's a must for what we're about to do. And lastly, we're gonna need to create a fly.io account. Yes, we're going to use fly.io to host our Shopify apps. Now, why fly.io? Well, it is one of the highly recommended hosting platform to host Shopify apps. Even Shopify recommend this as well, so there's that. But if you'd rather see how to deploy to somewhere else, drop us a comment below and we'll cover that in another video. Alright, so enough of that, let's start and deploy our Shopify app.
Now the first thing that we're going to do is to create or link our Shopify app to a configuration file. By default, this should be set up for you already, especially if you have developed a Shopify app using Shopify CLI. Now speaking of Shopify apps, I'll be using the Shopify app that we developed in the previous video. I will put that video down in the description below, or if you want to check it out, it should be here in the eye icon, okay? Now, the file that I'm referring to earlier is the file called Shopify app.toml. It's a file where you can find all the details about your Shopify app, especially the app that it's connected to. So it's connected to an app called WeeklyHow Remix app with a client ID of this. You will also find here your access scopes and the version of your API for the webhooks and so on. So if you don't have this file, you can create this file using a command. So let's just open a new terminal. And the command that I'm talking about is the Shopify app config link. When you execute this command, it will then ask you to connect to a partner organization. So let's say I select development. And then it will ask you, do you want to create a new Shopify app instead? Or you want to connect this to an existing app? So since this is already connected to an app called WeeklyHow Remix app, I can just say no. I can just select that app. So notice here, since it's already connected to this app, you'll find here that your file Shopify app toml is using this Shopify app. So let's just select this because it's already connected to that. But if you don't have a Shopify app listed here, then the only option is to create a new Shopify app. It will then take care of everything. It will create the API keys, client IDs, and so on. So let's just select the Shopify app. It will just then update your toml file because it already have all the configurations. It'll just replace the application URL and the redirect URLs. And that's pretty much it, which is fine for us because later on, we're going to replace this with fly.io URLs. So let's just continue. The next thing that we're going to do is to get the environment variables. How can we do that? We can get those by using the command Shopify app, and it should be env show. That's it. If you execute this command, it will then give you the API keys, the API secret, and then the access scopes or the scopes. Now what we're going to do is we're going to copy this because we're going to need this later on. And I'll just paste it to a new file. Just put it here. We'll come back to this later on. Now the next thing that we're going to do is to create a Fly app using the flyctl command. So we're going to need to install that command, the flyctl. And also we're going to need to sign in to our Fly account. So let's go back to our browser and then I'll open a new tab and we'll go to fly.io. And I'm already signed in, but if you don't have an account, you can just simply click the Get Started button right over here, or you can just sign in and you'll be able to create an account. It's pretty straightforward. Now, once you have signed in, you can just go to the docs page. It should be fly.io/docs, and then we need to go to install. So we have here the install flyctl. Just click that, and you should have this page, okay? I can also put this URL in the description below if you can't find it. Now, find the operating system that you're using. Since I'm using Windows, I'm gonna need to use the following command, the PowerShell command, and basically just use this command, that's it. Now, make sure that you are using the latest version of PowerShell, by the way. If you can't use this command, you're not gonna be able to install it. So to check your version, you can go here in the terminal, and I'm using PowerShell. Notice that it's PWSH. So if I type PWSH, it will give me the following version. Okay, so I'm using the latest version. Now we can just go back to the browser and just copy this and paste it here. And if I press enter, it will then start installing that package. And there you go, we have successfully installed it. Now we can finally start using the flyctl command. Now let me just clear my terminal. Now the next thing we're going to do is to use the command flyctl space launch, but we're going to use 3 flags here. And the first one is going to be called no-deploy. Make sure you type it correctly, by the way. It's no-deploy. And the next flag is the name of the Fly app. We will call this WeeklyHow remix app. I try to be consistent. It's the same as the name here in our Shopify app. Okay, so WeeklyHow remix app. It's the same. And the next flag is called internal port, and we will set that to 3000. Once again, flyctl launch space no deploy name and then internal port. Set it to 3000. And that's it. If you execute this command, it should start giving you the following: scanning your source code, saying that it's a remix app, and then you will have the following setting related to your Fly app. Okay? We're not going to change anything here, so we'll just select no, enter, and then that's it. It should create a new file called fly.toml, and this is where we're going to be adding our variables, our environment variables that we saved here earlier, if you remember. So here in the fly.toml file, we're going to add the following env section, and then underneath of this, we're going to add the port, which we will set it to 3000. Next one is the Shopify app underscore URL, which we will set it to an empty string for now. We'll come back to that later. Next one is the Shopify underscore API underscore key. We will set that to the following API key. We will copy that API key and paste it here. And the last one is the scopes. And we will just copy what we have here. So it should be right underscore products. Okay. So let's go back here and finish up with the Shopify app URL. Let's go back to the browser because we're gonna need to get it here. So I'll just refresh this, and notice now I have here the WeeklyHow Remix app. If you open that, you'll find here your host name. So let's copy this, go back to VS Code, and just paste the URL here in the Shopify app URL variable. And there you go. Now that we have the app URL, we can finally go back to the Shopify app toml and then change the following URLs. So remember this, we need to change this. So example.com, replace that with a new URL. Same thing here, replace that with this one. That's pretty much it. Now we can save this. Now we need to push these changes to our Shopify app. We can do that by using the command Shopify app deploy. And you'll get this. Basically, since we changed the application URL and the auth, we need to make sure that the Shopify app in the partner's account is updated. Okay? So we'll just say yes, release this new version. Now, the next thing that we're going to do is to set the environment secret, because we haven't done that yet. We already set up the flyctl configuration, so we can just save this. Now we just need to use the API secret. Okay, because we haven't done that. So let's copy this API secret, and then going back here in the terminal, what we're going to do is we're going to use the flyctl command, and then secrets, and then set, and then the variable name is called Shopify underscore API underscore secret, and then we need to paste here the value of the API secret, this one. Okay. Now just a reminder, all of this, the API key, the secret key, the scopes, make sure that it's in the safe place. Do not share this like what I'm doing right now. Do not record yourself and share your API secret to the entire world. Okay? Because it's very, very important. I'm just showing it to you because I'm teaching. Okay, so let's just go back here in the terminal and let me execute this command. And there you go. Now the secrets are staged for the first deployment. Now we can finally deploy this app using the flyctl deploy. So flyctl deploy. Now this is going to be taking a lot of time, so you can just pause this video and then come back to it once yours is finished. And there you go, now we have finally deployed our Shopify app. You can open this URL here. And we should get something like this. And that's normal, that is fine. But let's go back to our development store. This one right here. If we try and reload it, we should be able to authenticate. There we go. Now our app is live and deployed.
And there you have it. You have successfully deployed your Shopify app to fly.io. If you found this video helpful, why not like this video, and hey, why not subscribe to WeeklyHow as well while you're at it. We've got plenty more content like this coming your way. And if you have any questions, let me know in the comments below and I'll answer them. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.